This is Amy with Keller Williams, and it's time to find out what's been going on in the local real estate market for LaFleur County in the last 7 days. So let's see. There were 18 new listings. 0 to 100, there were 4. 1 to 200, there were 3. 2 to 300, 6. 3 to 400, there was 1. 4 to 500, there were 3. And 500 and up, there was also 1. So something for everybody. The majority of the activity was in the 2 to 300, which is a very nice price point in our area. So that's good news for people who are out there shopping for a piece of property. So pending, there were 22 that went pending. So that is an incredible amount of things that went under contract in the last week. There were 8 in the 0 to 100. There were 5 in the 1 to 200. There were 4 in the 2 to 300. There was 1 in the 3 to 400 and 4 in the 4 to 500, which is a pretty high price point for us. So that is great for sellers at all price points. They've been getting things under contract. Closed, there were 9 of those. 0 to 100, there were 2. 1 to 200, there was 1. 2 to 300, there was 2. 3 to 400, also 2. And also 2 in the 4 to 500. Nothing in the 500 up. So consistent across the board with the price points in what actually closed this week. So I feel like we've had some consistency over the last few months. We are officially into summer now, so I really don't see that slowing down a whole lot. But I could be surprised. It's a little unpredictable these days. But I've had a good year. I've had other realtors say the same. So things are going on, despite what you hear about on the news. Don't listen to what the national news says about what's going on in real estate. You need to know what's going on in the area where you're either buying or selling. It doesn't really matter what's happening in California and New York and Florida and places like that, because we've always just been a very different market. Our highs and lows kind of go like this versus like this that they do usually on the coast. So find a local real estate professional that knows what's going on. Hopefully it's me, but find somebody that you know, like, and trust, and talk to them about what's going on in the local market. I am seeing something I wanted to just talk about for a second. I am seeing on a lot of deals that buyers are asking sellers to pay some of their closing cost. And as a seller, I'm sure you're like, I'm not paying anybody's cost. But you have to understand, the buyers, they might qualify for a very healthy monthly payment, but they just don't have that chunk of cash on hand to do their closing costs. So they might have some, but they might not have enough. So closing costs consist of the lender fees, the title company fees, escrows for taxes and insurance. And as we all know, taxes have gone up and insurance has really gone up. So it's a chunk of change for a buyer to buy a piece of property, particularly a house where you have insurance, for a structure. So don't be offended when somebody asks that. Just look at what your bottom line is, what you think you can do to make the deal work as a seller. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but don't be offended by it. That is just kind of the way things are going these days. It's not new. We're just seeing, I feel like, a little uptick in it this last year or two. But just look at your bottom line and see what you think. And then you can always counter back. Okay, this is Amy Hall. If I can help you, give me a call. Have a great day.